Hello and welcome to Stage 3 of the Spanish Grand Prix at Circuit de Catalunya. Here we are at qualifying day. So we'll have several stages and I expect it's going to get harder and harder. Now, 1 minute and 16 seconds, I'm not one bit concerned about that. But it's a good time to hone the skills, focus on those braking points and keeping it on track, even though that doesn't matter right now. What I mean is, they didn't tell us we have to be on track. So if you're having trouble, don't be afraid to just take a cut here and there. I mean, I'd encourage you to try to get better, but at the same time, you want to finish the event, you want to get your currency, you want to get your tuning in your car. So don't don't try to push it too far. If you're having trouble, take a little cut if you need to and just get on with it. And you can practice more later on because this track is going to be in the Champions Series. And there you go, you'll be able to get onto it. Eventually they're going to be adding all of these tracks to the Invitational Series. I think they're going to wait until the last of the 9 Grand Prix, and then they're not redoing all of those Invitational Series every single update. So we're getting really close to that point. So yes, that means, Monaco and just all these tracks we've seen added, those will all be available in the Invitational Series at some point. So just bear that in mind. Here we are, see? Taking it even extra cautious. Let's see how much time's left over. I still have a little more PR than what's required, but it's going to be pretty close now. It's probably going to catch up to me today. So I haven't bought any tuning yet, didn't need to. I'm wanting to do this on the down low if I can. We'll just see how over upgraded I am. I'm at 120.5, requirements 118.6. So I'm definitely over the PR amount, but again, that's going to catch up to me at some point. There's no way you can get through this without buying tuning, or if you start with the base car, you're going to have to buy full tuning if you start with the base car. If you do what I'm doing, then you don't have to buy full tuning, but I'll have to buy some. A big thing for me, I don't really want a full Spanish Grand Prix tuning. It's just there's so many tunings that are really similar to each other. I just don't see the benefit to having all of them maxed out, unless you want to max out several principles, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, that's cool. I'm not going to be doing that. So this one, again, this one's just to set the fastest lap. Oh, that was razor close. That might have actually been off track. Here you can stay full throttle, and here I'm braking incredibly late, right as the white and red curb ends. At this current setup, that's about where I'm braking, and then I can get under him. And I want to push him a little bit into an early braking point. There we go. I kept some pressure on him, and that made him brake early, or he would have to come up and smack me out of my lane. And they changed that bot programming quite a few updates ago, so that they're going to brake, and they can't just smack you. So a little more like real racing, where you can actually pin someone down and throw off their trajectory. So that's kind of cool. I like that. And we'll see right away as I hit the start-finish line. We'll find out if I had a fast enough lap or not. Because my position, I definitely would have been off track on both of those. Which you can do at this point. At a certain point, we won't be able to, I don't think. So at the line, there we go. So I'm in first place. One thing I wasn't watching for, which they have done on other events, is they'd actually show you bots crossing the line, like their times would show up right over the back of your car. And I didn't notice that at all. So I don't know if they've just stopped doing that. Because the risk is, if you didn't do a fast enough lap 1, and then you lay back a lot in lap 2, one of the bots could beat you the second time around. But I'm pretty sure that I got substantially more than what I needed. So I don't think I'm going to have an issue here. Again, this corner here, I'm having trouble. I usually would use the shadows as my braking points, and I keep on messing up which shadow I'm using. Don't know why. Usually I have no trouble doing this, so something about this is throwing me off. I know they did change some of the banners and stuff for Circuit de Catalunya for it to be allowed in Formula 1. Things have to be updated for the licensing requirements. So some of the markers that we used to use for braking points are gone, but it's not too hard to adjust. I mean, there's other places in the game where you don't have any good reference point. You kind of just feel it out. You get used to it. Alright, so now we are... So again, it's getting more difficult. 114 is the goal. Still with the same tuning. I had absolutely no trouble before, so this isn't going to be any trouble. Here, I decided to try to drive forwards while looking backwards for an extended period of time. That can be kind of tricky. I don't know why, I just do that sometimes. It's kind of fun. Nothing, I mean, I've certainly pulled out from that way before the corners got there. Again, no trouble at all staying full throttle here. In a lot of cars, you'd have to slowly wash over to the left. In these ones, you don't. Same with here. It felt like I could have washed out off track on the left. I probably wouldn't have. But again, I'm trying to push this. Like that, I'm not pushing that enough. I'm giving up time. I can tell because I didn't need to go way over onto the curb. So because I didn't need to, that means that I was not on the throttle early enough, which could be a problem later on. So I'm keeping notes of these things, watching this. Looks like the second shadow is a good place. Like that time I was on the brakes too late. So I had to stay on the brakes too deep into the corner, which definitely threw off my time. And here, that's totally allowed what I just did. You can do that in a time trial, no trouble. You can push that even further. And yeah, no trouble hitting time there. And I'll be adding up all of this and sharing it at the end, all of my individual earnings here. I kind of like doing that. Okay, so let's see what we're facing here. Okay, so it's tuning time. I'm going to skip through this. So I bought 2010, so 2 of the speed, 1 of the brakes. That was enough to keep me going. So I just have 0.1 higher PR than what is required. Now, got to heat up those tires. The next lap, I really need to be zooming. So you could do some drifting like this, and look, the tires heat up way faster when you're skidding. Well, I shouldn't say way faster, faster. Tires are heating up faster when you're skidding. So, but you don't want to be off track skidding. That's when you're going to have heat leaving the tires, just the way they do it. Like that, that's going to be hurting me. And then I slip and I hit my volume button. That won't affect the volume that you're hearing the video at. That would have just been affecting my volume, which actually really scares me sometimes when I slip like that and suddenly, oh, it got incredibly loud. But oh well. Want to have these tires heated up for when I start my next lap. So I'm drifting a little bit more. 67%, 68. I don't think that's going to be enough. Maybe I'll throw another drift. Yeah, I'll throw another drift here. 74% before I started. And 83%. So almost 10% just for that little section there. So it does really add up quickly. Boy, I'm really far from all the other cars. I'm in 10th place. Okay. And you see that it didn't really go up while I was cutting. That's because I was basically losing and then also gaining. 100%. That's what we want. Now we start our timed lap. And again, I don't anticipate this being an issue at all. Love this section. Full throttle, just powering through that corner, powering through this, keeping it pinned to the right, not having to worry about washing up to the left. Nice here. So, there used to be billboards on the right-hand side, and one of those was my braking point. Well, that's gone. Oh, that was a bad corner. Here, you're just on the brakes for very little for this next corner. You can power through this. There we go. I didn't go off track at all. As long as you have a tire on the red and white curb, there may be even an inch or two past that red and white curb, you'll be okay. Second shaded section. No, that was horrible. Again, I went way too deep. Missed it. So we'll see how much that hurts me. I don't think it'll hurt me too bad. So let's just see here. I'll take this nicely, nice and clean. Oh yeah, we got nothing to worry about. That one's in the bank. 108 in a pinch. Beautiful. No worries, mate. And keep adding it up. And that brings us to the end of this stage. So, thank you for joining me on this one. If you liked it, please press like, please subscribe, and join me for the next one.